And we are live. What's going on, everybody? It's your favorite truck driver in the whole wide world. It's Bitcoin Ben here with my purple and hang on. Are live. I gotta shut that guy up. Good morning. Patrick, how are you, brother?
Fine. That is a nice shirt. Sea turtles?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
When's the one with the unicorns coming out?
I don't have a unicorn one yet, but I'll be looking for one.
You should.
I'll be looking for one.
Because we're gonna need the unicorn shirt soon.
Exactly. You and I were actually just talking off air about this morning's job report. Now, mind you, they expected a drop, and they got 525,000 jobs gained. The workforce workforce participation rate went up. So basically, people who didn't have jobs are now in jobs more.
Whether they knew it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my dad probably ended up, he's got a job now too.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah.
And the people on Bloomberg are even starting to question these numbers and going, do you think this is real? Do you think these are right?
That's amazing that they would start doing that.
Well,
that's heresy. That's fucking heresy.
Oh, I know. And what's amazing is if these numbers are correct, last night I did a deep dive on the Weimar Republic inflation, like white or the hyperinflation event of the Weimar Republic in the early 1900s. Yes, that's what I do on my off time. Woo! So it was a wild night. We are basically tracking one for one on what happened in the Weimar Republic. It's almost frightening how what we're going through right now is exactly what the Weimar Republic went through. I mean, the numbers, the jobs, because prior to, now listen to this, tell me this ain't weird. The Weimar Republic, prior to all its hyperinflation and all that, they had a pandemic that shut their economy down. Sound familiar, anybody?
Well, monkeypox is next. We know that.
Oh yeah, they've gotta have some. I don't even know how to explain this, and how would you explain it? They're throwing everything at the wall.
Well, the interesting thing is they pick a fraction of society. Gay and bi males is primarily where this is showing up.
Yeah.
What is that? Less than 2% of the population?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, it's we have such a mimicking of prior to World War One and prior to World War II. And now with this whole China thing, it's they're shooting rockets over and around what's the name of that country?
Taiwan?
Yeah, Taiwan. And China's serious about this.
Which was referenced in a statement that came out from China with respect to Pelosi's visit. They called it egregious provocation. They got the dictionary out on that one, but they referred to it as China's possessive Taiwan. No, Taiwan is sovereign. Taiwan is its own country.
It always has been.
Yes. Yeah. And China can say, one China all they want. Well, that's fine. You have all the China that you want, including Hong Kong, but Taiwan is separate. It's not you.
Right. Now, mind you, China has a lot of influence, but they don't own it.
No.
I mean, they don't. It's
the Taiwanese are not giving any indication that they're going to fold like a lawn chair. They're stiff backbone, and they're not giving in. They want their independence. They want separation from China. They want nothing to do with those bastards.
If China invades Taiwan, it's going to be another Vietnam. It's because they're not going to play by the rules. China, number one, they're hampered. They don't want to destroy any of the infrastructure, so they're not going to come in with big bombs.
Right.
And if they invade, they'd have to invade with a large population invasion. They'd have to send in a lot of troops, and I don't see how that works for China, because the moment that one of their ships lands, all hell breaks loose. America, Australia, Great Britain, everyone would flip out. And then you got the question, what does NATO do? Because although they don't have an agreement with Thailand or Taiwan or wherever the hell we're talking about, it's one of those ties. They're gonna do something. They're not gonna sit there and let China invade and just go, well, shit. So I think, now give me your opinion on this, is Taiwan the new Poland?
Yeah, it is. It is. There's the U.S. formal policy on this is there is one. It's one China. However, there's opposition to any unilateral change in terms of Taiwan's independence being lost, and that there's an expectation that China will not infringe on their liberty. And the United States has made defense services available to Taiwan to maintain their self-sufficiency. So if China decides that they're going to cross that line, we'll find out whether or not Biden has a pair or the U.S. command has a pair in supporting Taiwan's desire to stay separate from China. It is a crucible in terms of, well, are we going to support the people that need our support versus are we going to fold? It is quite similar to what took place in Gdansk in the late 70s and early 80s. Yeah.
Now, this guy makes a great point. There are two Chinas, PRC and CCP. And I agree with that. It's just which one's in control of the military. Is it the Communist Party, or is it oh God, what does PRC stand for?
People's Republic of China.
Republic of China, yeah. Which one actually controls the military? And that's actually the question we have here in America right now. Who really controls the military? I don't think Biden does. I don't think that Joe Biden and the people around him, the generals around him, have the true control of the military. Your thoughts, Patrick?
I'd agree with that. I mean, we're dealing with competence issues to begin with, and even prior to that, I don't think he had control of it. Secondly, who's a heartbeat away from holding the football? Kamala? That should frighten the hell out of everybody.
They would. If something happens to old Joe, they are not going to put her in. She would bow out or something. They're not going to put her in. She's worse than Joe.
Princess word salad? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you've ever listened to her try to put a paragraph together, it's like watching a monkey fuck a football. You almost feel sorry for her. You're like, my God, look at her low brain just working its ass off. And she gets nothing that comes. Let's just put it this way. The woman's known for what goes in her mouth and not out of her mouth. So
you got to work with the gifts that God gives you, you know?
Well, she better be damn good at taking things into her mouth. Because she's worked her way. She has sucked her way up to the White House. Hey, more power to you. Woman power, or whatever the hell they say.
No, that's the antithesis of it. Yeah.
Plus, Oh, okay. Let's get back to the economy. I had a call with the um, with the warehouse manager at Dollar General. All right. For those of you that don't know, I used to drive a truck for Dollar General and unload at Dollar General stores. They their ware their warehouse has half the products that they've ordered
Well, where's the shit coming from?
all over the country.
No. Where is it being imported from?
As in
China.
Oh, I know. Yeah, no. You're absolutely right. The but what he pointed out was Procter and Gamble. Now, when you drive for Dollar General, probably I'd say 40% of your back hauls were Procter and Gamble. You practically lived waiting on a door at Procter and Gamble.
So when you say
a trailer.
and when you say back hauls, that means you've brought your goods to Dollar General and then you don't want to go back empty.
Right.
And you're picking something from Procter and Gamble. Okay.
Yeah. Procter and Gamble has drop yards all over the country.
Right. Because if you look at on your grocery store shelves, over half of the items in the laundry detergent area and dishwashing detergent area are made by Procter and Gamble. Unilever and Procter and Gamble are the largest producers of that.
Yep, and they're having problems producing the products. So according to him, Procter and Gamble is about running at about 30% of what they usually produce.
So we won't be getting laundry detergent, and we're going to have to take our clothes down to the river and beat them on rocks.
Get ready for some serious shortages in exactly what you said, like detergents, hygiene shit. All right. And
oh, great.
Oh, yeah. We're not only going to be sweating our asses off during the summer, we're all going to smell bad.
Oh, yeah. So hygiene becomes nothing more than a social greeting. Is that right?
Exactly. Let's just say the government's not going to have a problem keeping us 6 feet apart. We're going to volunteer to not get that close. It's and if Dollar General's having that trouble, that means like Dollar Tree, Schnucks, Walmart. Now, mind you, Walmart gets priority over Dollar General because there's a hierarchy of shipping, and Walmart's at the top. All of their friggin' backloads are filled first, then like Dollar Tree, Dollar General, general purpose warehouses are at like the bottom, and so we're going to be in deep trouble here very, very soon. And he mentioned that he talked with the distribution manager at Dollar General. Right, he's a warehouse manager out in Fulton, out off of Highway 54. Right, heading like Lake is in Highway 54.
Yeah, yeah. They're Kingdom
Yeah,
City.
yeah, yep. All right. So he actually talked with the distribution manager. They're expecting it to get so bad that Dollar General is hiring a company to reorganize their stores so it looks less empty.
Kind of like the car dealers, huh?
Yeah,
We're not able to pick up on that one.
yeah. And speaking of that, uh, when we uh, when we purchased Alexa's Jeep, the car salesman told me that the employees of the dealerships were instructed to actually park their cars
In the lot.
in the lot. So it looked like there were more cars there.
Wow.
How crazy is that?
Yeah.
I mean, and inflation, guys, think about this. Do you think that inflation is going to slow down with these interest rate hikes? No, not with what's going on with Procter and Gamble and also Tums. I got a trucking friend who works and hauls. There's a plant like right by the St. Louis Cardinal ballpark
Yeah.
there. Uh, I can't. I think it's Tums, but the
It
name.
is Tums. It is Tums, but it's owned by GS.
Yeah. Yep.
Shit.
Yeah, I can't remember either. They are actually cutting shifts because they don't have product. And hell, they always had shifts available.
Oh, they ran them. They would run them. They ran 3 shifts.
Yep. Just like Anheuser-Busch. And now, mind you, Anheuser-Busch, because I ran Anheuser-Busch cans for years. Anheuser-Busch, because they have their own farms, they have their own aluminum supplier. Uh, Anheuser-Busch is absolutely cranking out full amounts of beer and is they're not running out of supplies at all.
Glasgow Smith Klein was who owned it.
Yeah.
Now it's owned by a place called Haleon.
Now the Pepsi plant, I ran cans too. The Pepsi plant is having trouble getting their flavorings for what we actually called the alt cans. It's other than Pepsi. It's all orange and all the other crap. They're having trouble getting their flavorings. It's we're at a pinch point right now. And if you look at the Baltic Dry Index, right, the Baltic Dry Index is basically the amount of shipping globally. It's at a third of what it was. Shipping rates have dropped like 60 or 70%. That's how bad it is right now. Nobody's shipping anything anywhere. It is officially getting ugly because when the Baltic Dry Index, now mind you, it hasn't been this bad since World War II, the Baltic Dry Index. Right? It hasn't been this, and we're talking now, some of you younger people who don't know history won't remember this, but how Patrick lived through it is
Was this with the wooden ships?
Yeah, the rubber drives and
Oh yeah. Yeah, there were a ton of different things along those lines back in World War II.
Yep.
You had ration stamps.
Yep, ration stamps, exactly. And it's that's what we are headed to.
Do you want to see traffic? There's a website called marinetraffic.com.
Yes.
Click on the live map, and that'll give you an indication of what's going on. Where the traffic is, the fact that they're sitting out waiting for loads, what's a military, what's oil, what's cargo. Pretty interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to hit some hyperinflation. And Patrick, this is the number one reason I wanted to have you on today. What happens if China holds a lot of our bonds, right? What happens if China, let's say they militarize those bonds or weaponize them and use them as a weapon against us? How quickly could they crush our friggin' bond market and our currency market?
Good question, because they find themselves in a bit of dilemma too, with their real estate market falling apart. That's been underwritten for the purchases of what was the name of that?
Evergrande.
Evergrande. Those chickens are still coming home to roost. So it ends up being an ugly situation for them, in that their economy, I think 30% of the stock is held internally in China by companies, let alone the government. And I don't know what the government holds, but it's a significant portion of it, and going to cause some serious disruption for any calculated effort that they have with respect to our bond market. Now, if they didn't have that situation, they could bring us to our knees. Or we could just default on it.
Well, if we default on that, then voila, we are the Weimar Republic. Because
absolutely.
That's exactly what happened to them at the end of this little chit chat.
Right.
They printed and printed and printed and finally said, okay, you can kiss our ass.
Right. Put up what Bitwave Dave commented on. And this is along the lines of what I'm suggesting.
All right. Evergrande is not paying. Yeah, I heard this. They are only paying domestic holders. You should do the same. I agree. I completely agree with that. Plus, over in China, what is there, like 800,000 or 800,000 people not paying their mortgage?
Easily.
What are they going to do with that? Are they going to bail out? And if they do that, there goes their friggin' currency even weaker.
Right. And the fact that they're so invested in our treasury notes and bonds, and it gets hit with the impact of inflation and devaluation of the currency, there they go with a devalued yuan.
Yes. Well, it would be devalued, all right. it would be devalued down into the basement.
Right.
Here we go. Yes, X22 report, our friend Dave, said BlackRock will be offering Bitcoin to its investors. Absolutely. I was actually digging in on that this morning, and I did a little research on it. And basically, what they're doing is they're offering BlackRock runs a software called Aladdin. It's basically like a Bloomberg terminal where you can trade and buy and all that. Well, BlackRock has Aladdin, and they're offering Bitcoin through Coinbase Pro in about a week or two. Now, mind you, a week or two is pretty quick for getting this set up. I don't know how long they've actually been planning this, but I think that the SEC, now hear me out on this, the SEC heard about this deal going through with BlackRock. Now, mind you, BlackRock, there's good guys and bad guys in BlackRock. One of Trump's closest friends is one of the head honchos at BlackRock. Trump brought BlackRock in to reorganize the Treasury Department. This was in 2018. BlackRock is a very important company to each side. Let's put it that way. And BlackRock owns or handles, I think it's like $7 trillion worth of assets. They're like the largest in the world. And they're allocating like 1% eventually over to Bitcoin. Now, at the same time, 9 trillion in still holdings.
No.
Some of our listeners are a little off.
Yeah.
We have the most interesting conversations over in the chat. All right, now, at the same time BlackRock's doing this, there's a little headline that the Bank for International Settlements, now this is the biz, this is the globalist, is allowing their banks to hold 1% of reserves in Bitcoin. All right, that's the Bank of International Settlements. Now, another headline that's out there, check this out. The CEO of a little company called Binance, you may or may not have heard of them.
CZ?
Yeah, met with the president of the Central African Republic to talk about crypto adoption and education.
Well, Charles Hodgkinson's been over there talking about that for, 3 or 4 years already. He's been, well, anyway.
But Hodgkinson's doesn't own the largest and most liquid
No, he doesn't.
crypto exchange.
No, that's fair.
According to some friends in El Salvador, now mind you, the president of the Central Republic of South Africa, or whatever the hell the name of that thing is, they were all over in El Salvador about a month ago. There was 40 or 50 of them. 40 or 50 presidents of African countries meeting with the president of El Salvador on Bitcoin. Now, according to a friend in El Salvador, the reason that is the CEO of Binance.
CZ.
And
is it GZ or CZ?
I don't know if it's Easy or NWA or
I think it would be AWA.
Yeah, Asians with attitudes.
Not that we're picking on them.
Oh, I love the guy.
He pulls no punches, man.
Well, when you got
those
that
funds.
kind of money, you
Yep,
don't have to.
yep.
So
So
apparently, the reason he's meeting with this president and other presidents is they want to buy some Bitcoin for their reserves, for their treasury departments. And and if you want massive amounts of Bitcoin, every over the counter will tell you this. If you want anything over 400 Bitcoin, you're going to Binance. That's it. There's no other way to get over 400 Bitcoin in one buy. It's just, you can't do it. And Binance has the most liquid of true Bitcoin. So what I'm seeing shaping up here is all of these countries are going to try and put some capital together and do a group purchase with Binance. If that happens, you're going to see some shit, because how Binance is going to do it is this is how every big buy is done. How Binance is going to do it. They're going to scrape about 100 Bitcoin off of their exchange every hour. And until the order's filled. So we're going to have a run up on Binance, I'd say within a month. Because when they do that, because I mean, think about it. You got 50 countries, all of them, or 40 or 50, all of them looking to purchase Bitcoin. They're already in like a republic relationship. Why wouldn't they do one group buy? Because then you have one fee that you can negotiate. You know, it's about to get interesting, and I think that's why BlackRock is hooking up with Coinbase, because if all of this is right, if everything that's being put out right now is even remotely accurate, we're going into a hyper inflationary environment. And I think that's why the Federal Reserve has been so strongly worded on how they don't care what happens to the economy. They're focused on inflation solely, because as inflation rises, the only weapon they got is the the interest rate. And Patrick, you worked at the IRS.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, Federal Reserve.
Yeah, much more devious place. Much more devious.
Yes.
But both of them are soul suckers. So
Yes. You worked at the Federal Reserve
in
the 80s, right?
Yes.
All right. Not the 1880s.
No, not that time. Not that time. No. Paul Volcker was the chairman.
Yes. Volcker had to jack the interest rates up to 20%. Now, mind you, at that time, the American national debt was nowhere near where we're at now.
Oh yeah. We hadn't even gotten started.
No.
The underwriting of credit to the average consumer and businesses had not even begun to flow in. I think I had made the comment last time, time before, that Michelle and I had gotten an offer from Citibank for a credit card, and we had never had anything along those lines. And I looked at it in amazement, thinking, "How the heck would I want to use this? Why would I want to use this? Oh, your credit line was 1,000, and if I remember correctly, the interest rate at that time was around 25%, which is where we are now. But there was, in between now and then, there had been a dip, and they were never allowed to charge anything that would put you at more than 2% a month of the balance, and now it's 3%. But anyway, the underwriting for consumer loans had not gotten to anywhere close to where we are today. We were still dealing with the vestiges of a gold standard. We had moved off of it, but there were a lot of behaviors that had to be modified, and the risk organizations within companies were still stringently tied to the requirements that they had previously, which meant that if you didn't own your house free and clear and have a boatload of cash in the bank, you weren't really getting the line. So, yeah.
So my question is, if in the 80s, Volcker had to jack it up to 20%, what would they have to jack it up to now in order to bring inflation in line and squash hyperinflation?
Oh, my guess would be somewhere in the 30s.
Jesus.
Somewhere in the 30s. Yeah, and Robert makes a good point that the Fed funds rate was higher back then. It had to be. Your overnight trading rates were, gosh, I'm guessing here, but I would say high 9s to low 12s would be a guess. Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah. So 30%. Number one, there will be no house buying. There will be no auto loans. Lending would cease to exist in America. Actually, globally.
Yeah.
Question is, which do they save? Do they save the dollar, or do they save the world economy? Because if they jack it up to 30%, the world economy goes into a tailspin so fast that it may reverse the Earth's rotation.
Well, if they weren't um, if they weren't globalists, they would favor the dollar, but they are. So, and this actually opens the door for the reset, um, and everything that Schwab is talking about. Um, you will earn nothing and enjoy it. Um, yeah, it opens the door for that bullshit. So the question is, are our pitchforks sharp enough, and do we have enough of them?
Yeah. So this is what I was getting to. He actually jumped ahead of me, Bitwave Dave. When you have no lending, then the only option you have is cash or an equivalent currency like silver or actually like Bitcoin. The adjustment, because once you don't have loans, everything is slammed into a depression. We have deflation like people have never seen before. Now, when I say deflation, what I mean is that all of a sudden your house deflates in price to half of a Bitcoin, a quarter of a Bitcoin, where US dollar wise, it's $1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million. But in equivalence to like silver and gold and like Bitcoin, it's off the charts. I don't see how that doesn't happen, and especially with everything we've said. The shortages is going to push inflation up. The money printing, the government spending that you talked about yesterday. Everything's inflationary. Do we make it, Patrick? Give us some good news, Patrick.
Well, the Cardinals took 2 from the Cubs last night. And you know, my favorite baseball teams are the White Sox and who's ever playing the Cubs. So, yeah, it was a great day for me.
And hopefully you had a nice little glass of that good, let's see, what I get you, bourbon?
Bourbon.
Yeah.
I have not cracked that yet. I've been holding that in reserve. There's a funeral I need to attend for me to break that one open. So
Gotcha. Well, I'm not dying anytime.
No, it has nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with you.
I'm not wearing the shoes.
You're not wearing the shoes yet.
Yeah. All right. We need to wrap this up. This weekend, this evening, as soon as I get done here, I'm going to Oklahoma City. Right? This weekend, tonight, I am going to be with Big Swear, Litecoin Lisa, and a whole gang of people at the Oklahoma City uh, freedom event with Big Swear. If you want to go, check out www.roadtoruda.com. He has tickets there. On Saturday, I will be at the Litecoin Lisa charity event for childhood leukemia. We're having a charity event. Tickets are under here. And please, even if you can't go, do me a favor and just purchase a ticket. It's literally it's a charity event for childhood leukemia foundations, and we gotta help each other because we sure ain't gonna get no help from this government.
That's a fact, Jack.
So please, if I don't even know exactly what tickets are. I think they're like 120 or something like that.
125.
125. If you have an extra $125, could you please just like purchase a ticket, help out, because these charities are suffering too, and it's I know $125 ain't cheap, and some of us have a hard time, getting that up. If you can, I know the joke was on the tip of your tongue.
No.
No one. If you can, help them out. Get a ticket. I will be there tomorrow at the event. So everybody have a great day. And Patrick, we're done.
All right. Adios, folks. Have a safe weekend. Take care of one another. Take care of one another.
Yes, absolutely. And Patrick will be answering telephones for the laptops. You want a crypto-only laptop? Guess what? CALIX Solutions is your company. Call Patrick now and ask, Patrick, why do I need a crypto-only laptop? He'll explain it to you. Give him a call at 702-845-8276. Love you guys. See you on Monday.